Vice President Kamala Harris, she may have just lost the black vote, guys. Just check out this bit from the Ingram angle where the panelist Anton Daniels points out exactly what's wrong with Kamala Harris's campaign. They have no policy.
Yeah.
Why?
I'm going to just be real honest with this. She's a black woman.
Is it only because she's a black woman?
Yeah.
Do you not see how that's a bad idea?
Elaborate.
We're in 3 proxy wars. She failed at the border. She has no policy, no record to stand on.
Okay, Anton, first of all, I think I forwarded that to 20 of my friends. That was such an awesome takedown. But tell us about that, because I saw some of the other participants like nervously drinking their Coke or whatever they were drinking. But tell us about your interactions with people who happen to be African American who instinctively seem to go for Kamala because it's the right thing to do.
Absolutely. I think it's unfortunate because the majority of my interactions is me being looked at as the bad guy because ultimately they think that I'm supposed to be on code, even though I know and they know that it's not in our best interest, in my family's best interest, in the country's best interest. And when we continue to play identity politics, the thing that they usually refer to is our previous history in electing people in office that ultimately even they will concede that they didn't have our best interests at heart. And so when I'm interacting with these people, often at times it's very difficult for them to step outside of being on code in order to do the thing that's even in their best interest. So I'm often looked at as a bad guy, but in reality, they know I'm telling the truth. And that's why it's so difficult for them to be able to convey and then debate what it is that I'm telling them, because they already know what the truth is. They're not unfamiliar with what it is that they experienced over the last 3.5 years. They're suffering. They don't have jobs. They have lower wages. They can't pay their bills. And so when they experience this, but it's very difficult for us as a community then break away from the popular thing to do because they don't want to be a part of the cool kids club anymore.
So yeah, it's kind of like they're banking on the black vote just because Kamala Harris is half black, or so they say. I mean, did you see that rally in Atlanta? Kamala Harris put on this fake Southern accent that people compared to Hillary Clinton. I mean, she's from San Francisco, but just see how hard she's trying with the Southern accent. She tries, y'all.
True. Kamala gets wrecked for her fake dialect. Our video of the day comes to us from a Kamala Harris rally in Atlanta yesterday. Listen carefully how quickly she went from a San Francisco elite to a Southern belle.
You all helped us win in 2020, and we're going to do it again in 2024. Yes, we will.
Well, I do declare. But that was really fast, so let's hear it one more time, please.
You all helped us win in 2020, and we're going to do it again in 2024.
Yes, 2020, the election year, Kamala got 0 delegates. Even Amy Klobuchar got 5 of them, and she eats salad with a comb. I will never forget this egg salad with a comb. Liz, why did she do this? Why did what?
No, you know, I was thinking about it. Oh, yes, unburdened by what has been her California accent and her Canadian upbringing. You know, so I'm wondering if is she going to have hot sauce in her pocket like Hillary? Is she going to go gun shooting in Ohio like John Kerry did? I mean, nothing screams fake more than a fake accent after you had, you know, no delegates, no Democrat primary voters, and now, you know, pretty much a Potemkin campaign because she's not talking any policy. It's all brand and imaging.
They said it. No policy. Just seems to be all brand and imaging. I mean, many of my friends say that the simple fact is that she has Megan Thee Stallion shaking her bottom for your vote while saying nothing about her policy shows what she really thinks about you. Now, I'm telling you guys, educated black people do not want this stereotype against themselves. For one, the accent immediately caught the attention of critics all over social media. Outkick founder Clay Travis, he shared the clip on X while saying, "Why do people do this? It's just so transparently fake." One reply said it's what sociopaths do. I swear, guys, I wouldn't be surprised if Kamala Harris is caught wearing an afro next week. You know what I mean? Now, let's be real for a second. Where does Vice President Kamala Harris really stand on the issues that matter to the American people? Because according to an ad from an outside political committee, Kamala Harris fails the test when it comes to the border. National Border Patrol Council Vice President Art Del Cueto said in a new ad from the Preserve America Super PAC, America needs a commander-in-chief who's tough on illegal immigration. Kamala Harris fails that test. Check this out.
I'm Vice President of the National Border Patrol Council. America needs a commander-in-chief who's tough on illegal immigration. Kamala Harris fails that test.
We're not going to treat people who are undocumented and cross the border as criminals. That's correct. That is correct.
Kamala was Biden's border czar. She supported sanctuary cities and taxpayer benefits for illegal immigrants. And she created the worst border crisis in American history. Kamala Harris is dangerous.
Preserve America PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
The Trump campaign also went on social media to respond when Kamala Harris started to talk about her track record on immigration. They said, here are the facts. As borders are, Kamala Harris ferried 15 plus million illegals directly into our communities. She thinks illegal immigration is not a crime. She wants to abolish ICE. She thinks you're stupid. Plus, Kamala Harris may have lots of buzz, but there's one big problem that she just can't spin away. People just don't trust her as part of the current administration. I mean, wasn't it just last November that Kamala Harris assured the public that not only is President Biden absolutely authoritative in rooms around the globe, but in the Oval Office? In February, she deemed him bold and vibrant. Well, I think we all saw otherwise. Voters are smarter than politicians give us credit for, and this case was no exception. By the way, guys, if you guys haven't already, please take a second, hit the like button for the video. Appreciate you guys always supporting the channel by sharing these videos on Facebook and Twitter, and thank you so much for making sure you're still subscribed. Now, you guys saw that whole charade fall apart on the debate stage in Atlanta, right? Ending Biden's re-election hopes and fueling allegations of a cover-up for all around him, including his vice president. And who's his vice president again? Oh yeah, that's right. Kamala Harris. Then just weeks after claiming only the Lord Almighty or medical condition would cause him to drop his bid, all of a sudden, lo and behold, Biden was out and Kamala Harris was in. I mean, like, what do you guys make of that? It definitely doesn't help things that Vice President Kamala Harris has gone 13 days without holding a formal press conference since becoming the presumptive Democratic nominee, and that's without receiving a single primary vote. The RNC research account on X noted that she's only done teleprompter speeches, and conservative pundit Ben Shapiro said that Kamala Harris has not answered one difficult question in the last week and a half. So yeah, what's up, Kamala? Care to enlighten the American people on our questions? Now, as usual, it looks like it's up to us to find out the truth. And yes, we got all the details for you guys right here. So first, let's talk about the Southern accent Kamala Harris suddenly had in Atlanta. You guys saw the clip. You heard how she sounded. You all helped us win in 2020, and we're gonna do it again in 2024 is what she said. But like what Outkick founder Clay Travis said on X, it's just so transparently fake. Another user replied to him, it's called mirroring and it's a strong narcissistic tendency. Yikes. She don't need that kind of stuff. Conservative columnist Ian Howarth, he also commented how Harris's fake Southern accent puts Hillary Clinton to shame. Remember that, guys? When Hillary Clinton used a Southern accent at various stages of her career in politics. And yeah, Georgia being one of the key swing states likely to decide November's election, I think we all know the real reason why Kamala Harris put on that Southern accent. Former President Donald Trump, he won the state by just over 5 percentage points in 2016, only to have President Joe Biden narrowly flip it to his column by less than 1 percentage point in 2020. And so far, the state figures to be one of the closest races again in 2024, with the Real Clear Politics polling average showing Donald Trump with a narrow 3.6 point lead over Harris. But come on, guys. Kamala putting on this fake Southern accent and thinking that people weren't going to catch on? I think you owe us a little bit better than that. Am I right, guys? Let me know whether you appreciated Kamala Harris and her Southern accent. Just drop me a quick yes or no down below. I think we really need to talk about the issues surrounding Kamala Harris that the vice president has yet to answer. For one, there's the border. National Border Patrol Council Vice President Art Del Cueto, he said so in their ad from the Preserve America Super PAC. America needs a commander-in-chief that's tough on illegal immigration. Kamala Harris fails this test. Now that Biden has stepped aside, Trump and his allies have repeatedly criticized Kamala Harris for nearly 2 weeks over the surge of migrants across the nation's southern border during the Biden administration. To remind everyone, Kamala Harris is still part of the Biden administration. One of the tasks assigned to her in 2021, leading the diplomatic outreach to tackle the root causes of migration in Central American countries. So this led her to being dubbed the border czar, both by the media and by Republican opponents, also by Del Cueto as well as in the ad, which has been filmed along the southern border, mind you. He says that as the border czar, Kamala Harris supported sanctuary cities and taxpayer benefits for illegal immigrants, and she created the worst border crisis in American history. Bottom line, he says Kamala Harris is dangerous. There was also that line from Kamala Harris's interview on The View from August 2019 when she said, "We're not going to treat people who are undocumented cross the border as criminals." That is correct. Now, this is a direct quote from Kamala Harris herself, you guys. And now Kamala Harris has been pushing back on the border security attacks as she leans in on the issue. She says that she will proudly put her record against his, and that Donald Trump has been talking a big game about securing our border, but he does not walk the walk. Now, of course, the Trump campaign quickly fired back about Kamala Harris bragging about her record on immigration. They laid down the facts. As borders are, Kamala ferried 15+ million illegal immigrants directly into our community. She thinks illegal immigration is not a crime. She wants to abolish ICE. She thinks you're stupid. And there seems to be that running trend with all the issues hounding the vice president. Because another thing that she's taking heat for right now is how she made the American people look stupid by letting people believe that President Biden was all right to continue the job. In her own words, not only is Biden absolutely authoritative in the room around the globe, but in the Oval Office. And don't forget that time that she called President Joe Biden bold and vibrant. Oh yeah. We all saw for ourselves, didn't we? The House of Cards collapsed on a debate stage in Atlanta, ending Joe Biden's re-election hopes and fueling allegations of a cover-up for all around him, including his vice president. And then, lo and behold, suddenly Biden was out and Harris was in. Vice President Kamala Harris just can't really expect us to believe that she didn't know anything about this. Early in his term, Joe Biden declared that he would be the last person in the room and enjoy the same kind of access that his former governing partner, Barack Obama, gave him during his 2 terms as vice president. In fact, they even counted it on Fox. At least 80 encounters between Biden and Harris, a number that only captures public meetings, meaning the actual number could be way higher than that. They're also trying to frame Kamala Harris's campaign as a defense of democracy. But come on, guys, the party nominee was basically anointed by party insiders without even ever receiving a vote. Meanwhile, their guy who actually received 14 million primary votes was frog marched from the White House under what we can only imagine was immense pressure from party elders, left-wing editorial boards, and Hollywood fundraisers. Seriously, guys, all these issues, all these allegations, they could be answered by a simple press conference. But wait a minute. She hasn't done one. As of the making of this video today, Vice President Kamala Harris has gone 13 days without holding a formal press conference since becoming the presumptive Democratic presidential nominee. She has hit the campaign trail, spoken at several various events, and even chatted with reporters here and there, but hasn't done a formal press conference or any kind of wide-ranging interview in the 13 days that have followed. And then, of course, there was that much talked about convention by the National Association of Black Journalists in Chicago. Kamala Harris was a no-show, but who made the headlines? Former President Donald Trump with the heated question and answer session. In fact, Kamala Harris, who became the likely nominee without receiving a single primary vote when President Joe Biden announced he would step aside last month, has been so elusive that the New York Times published excerpts from an interview that she conducted last year just to see where her answers would land now. She's got governors, senators, and House members, as well as party leaders all lining up behind her, but critics are quickly catching on to the fact that Harris hasn't faced tough questions since. National Review senior writer Noah Rothman asked his social media followers, when is Kamala Harris going to hold a press conference? The RNC research account on X said that she has only done teleprompter speeches, and one conservative pundit by the name of Ben Shapiro said Harris has not answered one difficult question in the last week and a half. Newsbusters executive editor Tim Graham, he expects her to follow President Joe Biden's 2020 playbook when he was famously accused of hiding in his basement during the COVID pandemic. You guys remember that, right? Graham pointed this out. Since the 2020 campaign, we have witnessed this bizarre spectacle of Donald Trump granting wide access to networks that suggest he's a fascist and hammer him daily. Meanwhile, Biden and Harris won't grant interviews to media outlets that gurgle all over them and their supposed historic accomplishments. Either they think the press can never be servile enough, or they are projecting a complete lack of confidence in their efforts to put complete sentences together. So which is it? DePaul University media studies professor Jeffrey McCall says that the Harris camp is well aware that their candidate doesn't do well in unscripted settings, not to mention that a presser or legitimate sit-down interview would necessarily require her to defend some of her positions, previous statements, and record. So what do? a rerun of the Biden basement campaign, as long as you throw in a couple of rallies with Meg the Stallion. What do you guys think about that? Do you feel like Kamala Harris is taking us all for a ride? Just let me know in the comments. Drop a quick yes or no. Now, if you appreciated this takedown of Kamala Harris, do not forget to check out our other video where we talk about the recent Trump rally in Georgia, where a black Atlanta woman grabs the mic from Trump, turns her back on Kamala Harris, and leaves the audience speechless, guys. I mean, you gotta see that one for sure. So make sure to check that video out right after this one. And of course, as always, thanks so much for watching. Thank you for liking the video, for subscribing to the channel, and for sharing these videos. I really do appreciate it. It totally does help out the channel. And I'll see you on the next one.